Most guys are training for aesthetics and not hormones. They're grinding through their bicep and chest exercises and their workouts, wondering why their hormones, their testosterone specifically, is stuck at 400 or 500. If you want to be 800 plus testosterone, you've got to train like a guy whose body was designed to fight, survive, and reproduce, rather than just training to look good in the mirror. So this one workout I'm about to share with you is one I've shared with clients before, and it's one that it's a lower body focus one, of course, mostly, but it's one that I use to wake up their endocrine systems again and turn their system, their nervous system as well, into a testosterone factory. We're talking deep compound lifts that light up your quads, glutes, your posterior chain, and then finishing up with some trap work that help with the androgen receptors, which will allow your body to utilize the testosterone to a better degree than if you had lower androgen receptors. When you hit the big compound movements, the ones that hit the biggest muscle groups in the entire body, the ones that require real effort, they really take your body out of homeostasis. You're really tapping into the body's hormonal system. These big, heavy compound movements, they stimulate luteinizing hormone and follicle-stimulating hormone, then testosterone, and even growth hormone as well to some degree. And then when you finish up with the heavy trap work, the shrugs, and we'll get into that in a minute. As I said, that's going to improve your androgen receptors and also potentially improve your posture as well. So there's all kinds of benefits hormonally and the way you look, because there's a different look between having mirror muscles and then the traps and that kind of area, and then hormonally and the energy, and it works on your interior as well as the exterior. So here's the workout. You start off with relatively heavy back squats or deadlifts, whichever one you feel most comfortable doing. Obviously, you need good form for this. If you get injured and you're out of the gym for a month, 2 months, 3 months, no workout is worth doing that. Please don't get injured. So good form is mandatory. You need to stay in the gym consistently, and getting injured ruins that. Relatively heavy. So sets of 8 to 12, that's going to be heavy enough for the beginning of this workout. 2 sets. I don't think it's a good idea to go to failure on either of these exercises. There's too many things that can go wrong. But if you do RPE 9, so 1 rep left in the tank, that's definitely intense enough. So obviously these are big movements. They're going to hit your quads, glutes, hammies, and your posterior chain. The deadlift hits the posterior chain and the traps more, of course, but squats do as well, and the lower back and everything. There is a huge anabolic signal when you do these two. 2 sets, 8 to 12, is enough to give you that initial stimulus. And then after that, we bring in the real failure work, taking the actual muscles to complete exhaustion with a less risky movement. And so this is where either dumbbell lunges or leg press would come in. I prefer dumbbell lunges, as you've seen. If you've watched my other videos, I could link that at the end, actually. Dumbbell lunges, it's good for your posture, balance, mobility, movement. And you're not going to get injured doing dumbbell lunges. I've never seen that happen. Higher reps, so 15 to 20 reps, 2 sets to absolute failure. Take it to complete exhaustion. You're hitting the same big muscles, but there's a lower risk of injury. So you can go harder. And then you're really, really maxing out the testosterone and growth hormone stimulus by doing that. And then finally, this is a quick workout. It doesn't take long to do. This is where intensity is great. Instead of doing 5 sets of 20 and then another 5 sets and then another 5 sets on different exercises, it's crazy. And you don't need that as a natural anyway. It's like steroid stuff. But then finally, heavy barbell shrugs for 3 sets, slightly higher reps, but again, to absolute failure. It's the failure that's going to stimulate the testosterone and the androgen receptors. Going in there, if you do RPE 7, like you leave like several reps in the tank, it might lead to some extra growth, but it's not going to give you the same hormonal stimulus. You need to shake things up. You need to push the body out of homeostasis. You need to give it that stimulus. Also, worthy of note, some guys, and I might be at this point myself, if you prefer doing dumbbell shrugs, because logistically it's easier to do it and the trap isn't rubbing up against you in the most annoying, uncomfortable of ways, um, then go for it with dumbbell shrugs. You can go really quite heavy with dumbbells. Quite often your grip is the limiting factor. So maybe if you also have wrist wraps, which means you can grip heavier stuff and really overload the traps, that's probably worthwhile doing, especially as you start to get stronger. So if your grip is the limiting factor and your traps can actually do a lot more, I would get some wrist wraps. Do heavy dumbbell shrugs again, sets of 15 to 20, absolute failure. 3 sets is enough, definitely enough. And that's the workout. And then at the end, what I personally do is hamstring curls and calf raises. Hamstring curls if I did not do deadlifts, just to make sure the hamstrings get enough stimulus to the calves as well. But that's purely for aesthetics. It's optional. You don't need to do this. It's not going to raise your testosterone any higher at this point. It's purely for balance and aesthetics. If you enjoyed this video, you will definitely enjoy the video where I talked about the most powerful testosterone exercise that most men are not doing. The one exercise that makes a huge, huge difference. And every guy should be doing this if you're not already. Check out that video here, and I'll see you there.